Hello students, we will be continuing with our poem Where the Mind is Without Fear. Let us summarize the poem. We have finished with the explanation in the previous session. Now today we will summarize the poem as well as we will go in detail with figures of speech as well as the appreciation of the poem. Where the Mind is Without Fear, written by Rabindranath Tagore. This is a poem where Rabindranath Tagore has written in the form of a prayer to the Almighty God. He wishes, he wants his country to be fearless. He wanted his countrymen to walk with pride. He wishes his countrymen to live fearlessly. He wanted India to be a country where knowledge is free. He envisioned a united India. He wishes to see his beloved countrymen free from prejudice and superstitions, as well as he wants his countrymen to be sincere and truthful. He also visualizes India as an epitome of perfection. He prays to God to help his country to progress so that the individual become more logical, broad-minded and progressive. He prays to God to guide his countrymen into the heaven of freedom, where all that he has prayed for should come true. Let us do the figures of speech which are there in the poem. The first line, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. In this, there are two figures of speech. First is alliteration, where the sound of W and H is been repeated. Second is synecdoche. Synecdoche, where mind and head both are considered as a part, which stands for the whole citizen. Where the world has been broken into fragments. Again, this line is an alliteration where the letter W and B, the sound of W and B is been repeated for the better poetic effect. Third, by narrow domestic wall. This is a metaphor. That means an indirect comparison has been made between the narrow domestic wall and narrow-mindedness in a society. Where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection. This line is personification. That means an inanimated object that is striving has been given a human quality of being tireless and stretching its arm. Next, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. In this, there are two figures of speech. First is personification. That means an inanimated object like a stream has given a human quality of losing its way. Next is metaphor. An indirect comparison has been made between the clarity of stream and reason. Next, into the dreary desert sand of dead habits. In this, again, there is two figures of speech. First is alliteration. The sound of the letter D is repeated for the better poetic effect. Next is metaphor. An indirect comparison has been made between the habits and the desert sand. Next, where the mind is led forward by thee. This figure of speech is synecdoche. Your mind is referred to as a part which stands for the nation or which stands for the citizen for a whole. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. Here, this is personification. An inanimated object, that is a country, has been given a human quality of awakening up. Let us now do the appreciation of the poem. For the appreciation of the poem, from the board point of view, we have to do the title, we have to do the poet name, we have to write the rhyming scheme, figures of speech and central idea. So let us start the appreciation of the poem. The poem Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore is a prayer to God. There is no rhyming scheme in the poem, but the poem is written in the free verse style. There are many figures of speech, example, personification, metaphor, synecdoche, alliteration. Let us give the example of personification. The tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection. Here, we can actually visualize tireless striving stretches its arm towards goal. We can also give an example of metaphor too. Metaphor by narrow domestic walls, where indirect comparison is done between the narrow domestic walls with the narrow-mindedness. Central idea of the poem. Tagore addresses God as my father and asks him to awake his country into the heaven of freedom, where there is total freedom of good thoughts, good words, and good action. He wishes for a country where the people should be free from fear, where the knowledge would be free to all individual and people from all caste and religion should be united. With this, our entire poem is done. I hope you all are well versed with the poem. So, please go through the poem. Stay connected, stay tuned, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.